In this video, we'll be taking a look at 3 college basketball games happening on March 23, 2024, and providing you with free team picks and total picks for each one of those games, so 6 picks in total. Welcome back to Cash Out Sports. Let's dive right into it. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe and to click the bell icon to get notified as soon as these videos get released, so that you have more time to plan out your bets as we provide these videos on a daily basis. I can guarantee that you'll have all the important information that you'll need on these 3 college basketball games after fully watching this video. One more thing before we start: if you would like to gain access to our best exclusive sports picks to take your journey to the next level, then check out our Patreon in the link down below, where we offer our best single picks, parlay picks, and much more. Now let's get started. Dayton versus Arizona in the forthcoming clash within the NCAA Tournament West region held at the Delta Center in Salt Lake City. The number 2 seeded Arizona Wildcats, boasting a commendable 26-8 record, are set to face off against the number 7 seeded Dayton Flyers, who hold an impressive 25-7 record. The anticipation surrounding this match is palpable as both teams aim to secure their advancement to the next round. In their recent performance, the Wildcats showcased their prowess by securing a convincing victory over Long Beach State Beach with a commanding score of 85-65. Meanwhile, the Flyers exhibited their resilience in a hard-fought match against the Nevada Wolfpack, ultimately clinching a narrow 63-60 win. Notably, Dayton demonstrated their ability to stage a remarkable comeback, overturning a daunting 17-point deficit in the second half. This triumph not only propelled them to victory, but also contributed to the Atlantic 10's impressive 2-0 start in the tournament, further fueled by Duquesne's success in their initial encounter against Brigham Young University. Reflecting on the coaching strategies, Arizona's head coach, Tommy Lloyd, finds himself in a pivotal position as he seeks to navigate his team through the challenges of March. Despite his tenure at Arizona, Lloyd's track record in March tournaments has been relatively modest, with only 1 appearance in the second weekend. Conversely, Dayton enters this matchup with one of their strongest offensive lineups in recent years, currently ranking 3rd in terms of 3-point shooting proficiency. Additionally, the Flyers' defensive prowess is underscored by their position in the top 50 for opponent effective field goal percentage, indicating their capability to contain the Arizona offense effectively. Moreover, Arizona's susceptibility in concluding possessions leaves them vulnerable, potentially allowing Dayton to capitalize on second-chance opportunities to maintain competitiveness. Thus, the Dayton Flyers to cover the spread as underdogs is our full-game side pick. Envisioning the dynamics of the impending showdown, it is plausible that Arizona will dictate the tempo, instigating a faster-paced gameplay. While Dayton may not be accustomed to such an up-tempo style, they might find themselves compelled to match the Wildcats' pace should they fall behind by a significant margin. This scenario could favor proponents of the over, particularly given the offensive prowess displayed by both teams, each ranking within the top 25. Noteworthy is the proficiency of both squads in executing 3-point shots, with Dayton boasting the nation's 3rd highest 3-point scoring rate at 40.2%, closely followed by Arizona at the 22nd position with a rate of 37.1%. Consequently, both teams are primed to capitalize on numerous opportunities to amass over 70 points each. Thus, over the projected total stands as our full game total pick. Gonzaga versus Kansas. On Saturday afternoon, in Salt Lake City's Delta Center, the stage is set for an exhilarating clash between the number 5 seeded Gonzaga Bulldogs, boasting a season record of 26-7, and the number 4 seeded Kansas Jayhawks, who stand at 23-10, marking the second round of the NCAA Tournament Midwest region. Gonzaga, coming off a commanding 86-65 victory against the McNeese Cowboys, enters the matchup with momentum on their side. Meanwhile, Kansas secured their spot in the second round with a hard-fought 93-89 win over the Samford Bulldogs, showcasing their resilience in a high-scoring affair. Both teams exhibit formidable prowess, yet the prevailing sentiment leans towards the Gonzaga Bulldogs emerging victorious and covering the spread in this encounter. The absence of Kevin McCullough Jr., a pivotal player for the Jayhawks sidelined due to injury, poses a significant challenge for Kansas. Graham Ike's defensive capabilities may impede Hunter Dickinson's dominance in the paint, while exploiting Kansas' defensive vulnerabilities at the other end of the court. Notably, according to Ken Palm's adjusted efficiency margin, Gonzaga holds the 12th position in college basketball with a commendable plus 22.61 rating, whereas the Jayhawks trail closely behind at 24th with a plus 18.61 rating. Kansas's recent performance has been somewhat erratic, marked by 4 losses losses in their last 6 games, with a particularly close call against Samford in the first round. The absence of Kevin McCullough, absent from action since March 9th due to injury, further amplifies Kansas's susceptibility. Conversely, Gonzaga has demonstrated consistency, covering the spread in 4 of their last 5 games and showcasing their offensive prowess, positioning them as one of the premier offensive teams in college basketball. This suggests diverging trajectories for the two teams, with Kansas engaging in closely contested battles while Gonzaga ascends to their peak form. The defensive display witnessed from Kansas against Samford left much to be desired, raising doubts regarding their merit to advance to this stage. Conversely, Gonzaga's convincing performance against McNeese highlights their versatility and ability to exploit opponents' weaknesses across the court. With such factors in consideration, the Bulldogs appear poised for success, so the Gonzaga Bulldogs to win and cover the spread as favorites is our full game side pick. The projected total for this game may appear conservative, given the substantial scoring outputs witnessed from both teams in their respective Thursday matchups. Notably, both Kansas and Gonzaga confronted lower-ranked opponents known for their fast-paced style of play. Kansas's relentless attacks on the rim against Samford, coupled with Gonzaga's clinical dismantling of McNeese State's defense, suggest a potentially high-scoring affair. However, the intensity of Saturday's encounter is likely to dictate a slower tempo, with defensive prowess becoming more pronounced. Another noteworthy aspect is the tendency of neither team to heavily rely on three-point shooting, particularly evident in Kansas's offensive strategy. This inclination towards inside scoring may temper expectations regarding the overall scoring output. Recent defensive performances from both teams further support the likelihood of a lower-scoring contest. Gonzaga conceding an average of 67 points over their last 4 games, and Kansas allowing 74 points in their previous 5 outings, signify a defensive resilience that could stifle offensive momentum. Given these dynamics, opting for the under as a safer bet seems prudent, considering the potential for an overestimation of total points scored. While the game is expected to yield scores in the 70s, aligning with the anticipated defensive intensity and strategic gameplay anticipated in this highly anticipated matchup, under the projected total as our full game total pick. Michigan State versus North Carolina. Saturday's round of 32 promises an electrifying showdown as the 9th-seeded Michigan State Spartans prepare to take on the formidable 1st-seeded North Carolina Tar Heels in the West region of the NCAA tournament. Michigan State showcased their prowess in the first round by securing a commanding victory over the 8th-seeded Mississippi State, triumphing 69-51 while being favored by 1.5 points. Meanwhile, North Carolina cruised through their opening game, overwhelming the 16th-seeded Wagner with a resounding 90-62 victory, comfortably covering the substantial 25.5-point spread. Notably, this encounter marks the first meeting between these two programs since 2017. Although Michigan State exhibited a strong performance against Mississippi State, it's imperative not to fall prey to the allure of recent success or succumb to recency bias. In the past month, Michigan State suffered defeats against teams that failed to secure a spot in the tournament, including Iowa, Ohio State, and Indiana. Conversely, over the same period, North Carolina endured only a solitary loss, falling to NC State in the Atlantic Coast Conference Final. Undoubtedly, North Carolina boasts superior prowess, particularly capitalizing on their size advantage in the interior. Armando Bacot's impressive display in the first round, amassing 20 points and 15 rebounds, underscores North Carolina's dominance inside, a facet where Michigan State's key players primarily operate on the perimeter. Despite Michigan State deploying Carson Cooper inside, his stature matches Bacot's, yet he lacks the athleticism and talent, leaving Bacot poised to dominate once more. Furthermore, Michigan State trailed in points in the paint compared to Mississippi State in their opener, indicating their likely inferior scoring inside against the Tar Heels. Tyson Walker may shine as Michigan State's standout player, but facing off against first-team All-American R.J. Davis neutralizes any advantage he might have enjoyed. The abundance of talent on the Tar Heels side, coupled with their formidable lineup, positions them favorably for a triumphant march into the Sweet 16. Adhering to the philosophy that sports teams cannot simply switch their performance on and off, it's evident that the Spartans stumbled into the NCAA tournament, having lost 5 of their final 7 games. While their victory over Mississippi State was commanding, it's worth noting that the Bulldogs concluded the season on a lackluster 2-6 streak. Facing a considerable uptick in competition, Michigan State has historically faltered when confronted with high-stakes scenarios. Their track record against elite opponents such as Duke, Arizona, Baylor, Wisconsin, Illinois, and Purdue reflects a meager 2-7 win-loss record, with an average victory margin of -3 points across 9 games. Ultimately, their offensive capabilities fall short, evidenced by their modest offensive efficiency ranking of 97th in the nation, scoring 107 points per 100 possessions. Such statistics bode poorly for their prospects against the dynamic offensive prowess of the Tar Heels. A pivotal factor lies in the venue, with the matchup unfolding in Charlotte, essentially serving as a home game for North Carolina. The Tar Heels stand poised to capitalize on this advantage. While a Tom Izzo-led team commands respect in postseason play, the resilience displayed by this North Carolina team under Hubert Davis, overcoming setbacks such as squandering a substantial lead in the title game against Kansas, instills confidence in their ability to secure victory, particularly in a favorable setting. Despite bookmakers in Vegas showing favor to Michigan State with a modest 3.5-point line, this assessment fails to align with prevailing sentiments. While acknowledging Tom Izzo's storied accomplishments in March, the perceived bargain and laying merely 3.5 points underscores the favorable odds favoring North Carolina's advancement over the Spartans. Consequently, the North Carolina Tar Heels to win and cover the spread as favorites is our full game side pick. Anticipated as a defensive showcase, both teams boast top 10 rankings in defensive efficiency nationally. The Spartans hold the 6th spot in defensive efficiency, closely followed by the Tar Heels at 7th. Notably, the total set for the first round encounter was 10 points lower, indicative of a defensive-oriented contest, further evidenced by both teams combining for only 120 points. Additionally, Michigan State's deliberate pace, ranking 310th in tempo nationally, underscores their preference for a slower-paced game against the high-flying offense of the Tar Heels. Recognizing North Carolina's offensive prowess against Wagner, it's evident they won't replicate the same scoring output against Michigan State's North Carolina defense. Should Michigan State harbor aspirations for victory, their strategy hinges on decelerating the tempo and transforming the game into a defensive battle, a tactic emblematic of their season under Coach Izzo. Conversely, while North Carolina thrives on a faster tempo, their defensive resilience remains a cornerstone of their success, ranking 7th in adjusted defensive efficiency. With both teams demonstrating superior defensive capabilities, the stage is set for a gritty defensive showdown. In anticipation of a thrilling clash between two defensive powerhouses, under the projected total is our full game total pick. That's all for now, so if you have any other games you would like reviewed, then leave a comment down below with the game you would like analyzed. Subscribe to our channel, leave a like on this video, and we'll get to it as soon as we possibly can. We would also love to hear your opinion on the picks presented to you in this video, whether you agree or disagree with them, so leave a comment down below and do let us know.